So with that, let's move into the impact of the AI evolution for Dynamics 365 FO, pretty much. And so let me take you through the quick journey. And so it is a story of transformation. So if you look at the early ERP era, pretty much the basic automation, simple databases, and limited integration was there. And when it comes to the 2000s, it got better database connectivity, introduction of web-based ERP, early cloud solutions, and basic analytics came into the picture. And with the 2010 to 2020, ERP systems go through a major transformation. Um, the cloud era took off, making ERP accessible and mobile friendly, and real-time analytics, social integration, um, and early predictive analytics and machine learning capabilities came into the picture as well during this time. And if you look at the next phase in the AI-led ERP 2025, co-pilots, you can see the co-pilots, AI-powered automation, agents, and the model context protocol, MCP, which we will touch upon a little bit later on, has been something which has been the evolution of the ERP on a whole cycle in terms of the AI capabilities and how it has happened so far. So you can see the system of records becoming more towards system of action. So if you see the MCP versus Copilot, it's becoming a system of actions using the system of records. So this evolution has been happening around ERP, and you could see this is happening in Dynamics 365 FO, pretty much because Microsoft is closely aligned with the AI and the developments around the AI with the different LLMs and stuff like that. And also with the OpenAI partnerships and stuff like that. So it's working very closely on that. So Agentic ERP, which is the Copilot adaptive experience you can get now, which has first-party agents, third-party agents, and you can also build your own agents using the Copilot Studio as well, and you can extend them as well, pretty much. And headless business services, so these are categorized as the headless business services, which you can do the actions and data tools, which is powered by the MCP. So you have finance, sustainability, supply chain management, HR, commerce, field service, and project operations. So these are, helping the agentic ERP revolution inside the FNO, and it's actually powered by the Copilot Studio as well, right? So there are a lot of copilots and agents inside the FNO. So you'll find that from Microsoft itself, what's proposing is every employee will have a copilot, and agents, every business process will have multiple agents pretty much, and then every employee will have multiple copilots as well. So let's look at what is an agent, just an explanation point of view. I believe most of you are aware of it. So example, you have seen the agents in the previous time periods. I mean, still existing, but it's a dying art on the travel agent. So you have human expertise, knowledge, and then you have personalized decision making, which they're doing with when you talk to them and then tell them what you want to do, and then you have human coordination, that skills that they have, and that they would help you to book a travel. Example, in this case, you want to go to a vacation to Paris, so you call a travel agent. But in the modern world, you'll have an app. You can actually talk to it and then let it know that what are the what are your preference and where you want to go, and you want to go to, let's say, Paris, and what activities you want to do, and then you'll have programmed knowledge base, data driven, and decision making, and then also it can be an agent, chat agent, and then you can communicate and then you can find out best options for you, and based on that you can trigger the next operations as booking and payments and stuff like that, so which can be done in an agent as well. Let me just unmute this some background noise just to yeah, okay, cool, that's all good. Yeah, so that's bit about the agents. I believe you have been come across the agents before. And let's look at some of the Copilot features in Dynamics 365 FO apps. And there are generative help and guidance with Copilot, so which you can talk to the FNO and then ask questions on that's actually grounded on the Microsoft documentation as well. And then if you want to extend, you can extend as well. Also, you can bring it in the MCPs and all the other stuff. And let's say you want to bring it in the virtual entities and stuff like that, you can actually use the generative help and guidance with Copilot and extend it. There are some other workflows like workflow history summary, so that's embedded inside the application itself in Dynamics 365 FNO, and then it can give you the history and the summary at a glance, and rather than you scroll through the workflow and then find it out. And you can enhance the user feedback for Copilot and experiences. You can chat with the finance and operations data. There's immersive home, which is actually using the agent communication, and it's mostly agentic immersive home, pretty much, that you can see all the actions and stuff like that using the immersive home. Customer insights by Copilot, store reports. So this is for the commerce side of it. So you have a customer insights you can see by Copilot. Store reports, insights can be given by the Copilot, and then you can enable the Copilot statements, streamline your merchandising process, use Copilot Insight Builder. So these are some of the capabilities in the commerce. And then the finance side, collections coordinator summary, customer suite summary, and then project operations side, you have Copilot for project overview, use Copilot in time entry, and for the SCM, AI summaries with Copilot, analyze demand plans with Copilot, and some of the other capabilities around the the planning app, and view and accept changes to confirm purchase orders, and workload with insights with Copilot in the warehouse management mobile app. So let's quickly look at a warehouse worker insights example. So example, if you're logging into the warehouse management app, you could see pretty much some Copilot summarized information on how many work that you have to do, outbound, inbound, and counting and replenishment perspectives. So these are some of the key insights that the worker can see and then take actions upon. So that's a good Copilot use case here. And workflow insights. So this is about the workflow that I was talking about earlier. So when you go into a workflow, and you can directly see the summary inside the Copilot. So it actually generates the summary, and then you don't need to scroll through and find out. So you can see what's the latest and where it is at currently. So you can see that it's at Julia Vanderberg and the completion step. And then if you go back, that you can see that it's Julia Vanderberg submission was made by Julia Vanderberg, and it's approve action taken by Julia as well. So that's, you can see that insight straight away there. So generative help and guidance with Copilot. So this is what I was mentioning here, that it's grounded with the Microsoft Learn documentation. So you can ask questions on the documentation and about the how to use, like how to create a sales order example, and in this case FNO Copilot features or other Copilot features, and it will give you, because it's grounded in the Microsoft documentation. And you can also give You can also directly go to the content as well, because there will be a link, and then you can also mark up and mark down pretty much there. And that's the same place which you can extend as well, which I will go into next demos. You will see those ones as well. So how to extend copilots for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations? So pretty much you can use X++ to extend as well. So if you see that workflow extension for the Copilot summary is actually using the X++ embedded on top of the application, and that's how it is generating that summary. And then the Microsoft Copilot Studio, which is the example that we saw on the Copilot and generative help and guidance, which was on the right side, that the sidecar. And you can also use to extend that one as well. And then there are Dataverse as well, and then AI Copilot for the client action executor. So the Dataverse side, you can actually add Dataverse knowledge source, and that help you to extend. So in the FNO case, you can actually embed with the virtual entities and the physical entities from the Dataverse. Microsoft Copilot Studio. So Microsoft Copilot Studio, help to extend, as I mentioned earlier. So you can go and create a Copilot, or you can use the Copilot for Finance and Operations app, which is the help and guidance, which actually, you can extend that, or you can create your own Copilots here. So let's see an extended Copilot. So this is the immersive home that you see as well. So we were talking about the immersive home as well. So here it's been improved. So if I talk to the Copilot, then it actually recognizes which users logged in. So you can see that it's actually recognizes the user. And then I'm gonna go with the conversation. So I'm good, thanks. And then, can you please help me to find most used form for the ended cost agent? So this has been extended, so it finds out and gives you what are the forms, and then you can directly go to the form as well by clicking into it. So this is some kind of use cases that you can use, so that the users can go and find directly their menu items which they want to use as for their role, pretty much. And based on the access that role, they can actually access these forms as well. So it's one of the use cases. And these are agents delivered, and some of them probably be in public preview and available now. So account reconciliation agent, supply communication agent, and scheduling operations agent, expense agent, time agent, and approvals agent. So there are a few agents that's been available. Supply communications agent, especially, it'll help you to communicate with the vendors, and if there's any delays on the vendor side on the deliveries, and if you get emails, let's say they can't deliver a whole set of quantities, and there will be a mismatch on the quantities that you want, and then you can directly get that email into the interface, and then it'll recommend how much the quantities that need to be adjusted, and there will be the suggestions, and then you can approve these suggestions, and then that'll apply into your PO directly, and then you can use that PO afterwards. I mean, pretty much your communication with the vendor becomes very easy, and it'll save a lot of time, especially for the agents who are, for the purchasing agents who are working there. Sorry. And account reconciliation agent is another agent which will help you on the reconciliation on the finance side of it. And yeah, let's go into supply communication agent. Let's look at some example here on that. So here, vendor sends email about purchase orders, so you can define which vendors you are going to select for that purpose. And then you can see that you have the apply all suggestions. So this is the email which came in, and then there's apply suggestion that you can actually apply to the PO based on the suggestions from the email itself. So they have the change detected as 200 quantities because they were not able to provide 300 quantities. So you can apply that suggestion here. And So you can put it, if you want to do it always, then you can put it, or if you want someone to go and check and then do it, you can do it manually as well. So that's some use case scenario on the supply communication agent. And this is drafting an email to follow up on delayed purchase orders. So you could find delayed purchase orders based on a criteria and then send an email back to the vendors pretty much from here on the vendor name and the draft by email by agent, and then you could have a look and then send it to the agent, send it to the vendors directly from there. So that helps you to speed up the communications and then make sure that you're not missing out any communication with your vendors, and that helps you to speed up things faster and then continuously follow up and then summarize the changes, and purchase order follow-ups will be done. So this is a new agent which is created using the Copilot Studio. So in this case, I'm creating shipping ports. This has been done a bit earlier before the MCP came into the picture. So you can use these triggers, and you can use these the Dataverse. I mean the Dataverse in the sense the virtual entities, and then you could link this virtual entities to update the Dynamics 365 FO. So in this case, I'm just updating the shipping port location directly from the purchase from the Copilot Studio directly. So now, right now, if you use the MCP as well, you could pretty much do the same thing. This was the earlier case, but this is still valid if you want to do certain use cases using the virtual entities. It's possible to do that as well, and that way you are restricting, certain entities, and then the actions will be based on the those entities, and it's not going to do the actions pretty much based on that, because you're restricting the entities as well there. Yeah, so this is a shipping agent. So this would be creating the this is the finding out the voyage record, and then talking about the items which are linked to it. So this is, again, I have used the virtual entities to do that, but pretty much you can also try utilizing the MCP as well if you want to do that. And also, beauty of this one is that you can go directly to the records which I showed earlier as well, directly from the reference, and you can find out all that information directly from there. And then you can also see how many records are there in the voyage purchase lines. Then it will come back and let me know the update. There are three records in the voyage purchase lines, so which is correct because we saw 3 lines there. So that's an example. So let's look at the model context protocol. So the MCP. So MCP, you have it's an open standard MCP, and that enables developers to build secure two-way connection between the data sources and AI-powered tools. The the architecture is pretty much straightforward, as you can see. So developers can either expose the data through MCP servers or build AI applications, which are the MCP clients. So the MCP clients is the AI application, and then the MCP servers, which are connecting to the data sources and secure connections, and then the MCP clients connecting to the AI applications, and two-way communication is there. So if you think MCP server, which holds the tools, and MCP clients, the agent or app that users use. So connecting AI to real world data using, you have isolated AI models. When you implement the MCP servers, you connect this bridge kind of a thing, and then can you build the MCP clients, integrate with the tools, and then you have the connected AI ecosystem pretty much. So to enable the MCP, there's a feature. If you go to the Dynamics 365 RP Model Context Protocol server, then you can enable that feature. Then you would see the Dynamics 365 RP MCP after enabling that. Let's look at an example using MCP, creating a PO. So this shows on how to create a PO using the MCP. So we find a vendor here. So that's the last record, and we're going to use that vendor and then create a purchase order for that vendor, and then you specify the item number and also the vendor details. And then it'll actually go back and create the PO directly inside. As you can see, that's been created inside the system. And we can see a zero prompt sales order experience as well here. So this is the zero prompt sales order experience. So you can see the zero prompt experience here, and then you can see the on-hand inventory. Sorry. You have on-hand inventory, finding alternate reservations. So you have zero prompt, so you don't need to prompt it, but you have all the actions defined there as a zero prompt. So it's a predefined set of actions. So you can use to find the inventory if you want to create a new order, or if you want to break a reservation. That's kind of example. And then in this case, you can add a PDF, and then that PDF you will scan through the PDF, and then because you might receive from the customers an order, and then you can actually use that the PDF to create the sales order. So that'll directly create a sales order from the PDF which is attached. So that's amazing. And then also here the other example is like if you want to break a reservation, you don't need to go to the reservation and break it. You could actually directly do it from the menu item as well. And you can also see based on the information what are the quantities available, and then you can use that actually to break the reservation. So this is a zero prompt method, the way that you can do. So you can use the sales order number, item, and the new reservation quantity, and then you can submit it, and then straight away you do that, and that'll save some time with these kind of zero prompt options available. When you can customize and make it available inside the FNO on the sidecar here, on the help and generative one, the Copilot. So that's some capabilities that's coming with the MCP servers. So it has done that update on the new reserve quantity. Yeah, and let's go and find out some more information on the D365 MCP server. So you have the language support, control interaction, supports only US, English, and date format, uses ISO format. It ignores the local at the moment, but there might be some improvements happened on 10.4.47 probably, so that to add to some of them. Menu items, filters menu items by the user role, and output items does not support report generation. System admin exclude the system admin forms. That's good in a way, because that doesn't create any issues if the MCP use the system admin actions. From form tabs require agents to open form tabs, and then attachment does not support file uploads. That's something to think. Advanced filters supports only matches operator. So what is critical for Copilot and agents? Input quality, context management, output processing. So in feedback loop and safety. So in input quality, you have clean structured prompts, clear context and instructions, maintaining conversation history, understanding user intent on the context management, and then output processing wise consistent response and validation of generated content. User feedback collection, continuous improvement is in key. So safety wise, security checks, compliance with guidelines, ethical considerations. And that's pretty much on the session side of me. And these are some of the resources that you can use.